Well, welcome to Hamilton County TV. I'm Perry Williams, and as usual this week I have Jake Gilbert, the head football coach of the Westfield Shamrocks. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me, Perry.
Well, Coach, it's sectional time. You got win number one, so when you win, you move on.
Yep,
so,
survive and advance, right?
Absolutely.
Glad we get to do this again.
Yes, absolutely. It's always right now. It's always good when we get to do
yes, absolutely.
An interview every week. But the past game against Noblesville, most of the scoring happened in the first half. You came out victorious, 35-0. But I think really the nail in the coffin was when Benji Welsh ran that 95-yard kickoff back at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah, well, you know, Noblesville limits your possessions. They use the clock and time of possession, and so we had 4 offensive possessions in the first half and scored 4 touchdowns. But it's you know, those guys are going to take clock. It's how it is. So to get a score on special teams against a team that does that, that's a huge advantage. And there's just not very many possessions in the game. But I was so happy for Benji. He's an amazing kid, and only his second year playing high school football, and he's a great player, but an even better person. So I was happy for him.
That's good. That's good. Well, you know, probably, I would say probably the biggest surprise, I know in Central Indiana, or maybe in the state, was Fishers beating Hamilton Southeastern.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you anything can happen come tournament time. Last time you guys played those guys, it was 45-6.
Yeah.
I think it's correct. Yeah, 45-6.
Well, it's a rivalry game, Perry. You know, you can't. I mean, when it gets to the tournament and it's a rivalry game on top of that, I think you have to kind of start over. I was most surprised because they were missing a couple.
Their top receivers.
Yes, tremendous players. And so when I heard that, HSE so good defensively that you would have thought without those receivers, Fishers would have a hard time. But the opposite, they were tremendous. Dunn, the tailback, he obviously grew up. He had an amazing game. Quarterback played great.
I think it's probably the best game he had this season.
Oh yeah, that was one of the better games in the conference for the season. He was had a few touchdowns, over 60 yards, a reception, a couple runs. So very impressed with what Fishers did, but also the way they won it, because they were down at halftime, I think 21-7, you know, and to have that kind of toughness and guts to come back and win that game the way they did late, and then get the interception in the end zone to seal it. They played to the end. I was very impressed.
That's good. Yeah, you know, and a lot of times when you lose actually 2 of your players, basically through the air, and they did a pretty good job in that game moving the football. I mean, obviously Dunn did a great job, but the quarterback had another good game and threw to several different receivers. And so it's kind of a different team than you've seen.
There were a couple guys out there that I don't remember from the first game that did a nice job. So, and a couple other guys who maybe were more impactful than the first time we played them. When you're a first-year coach in a program, really the entire year you're evaluating, you're moving guys, and you're trying to implement what's best for your program under any normal circumstances. So you throw into that where a guy misses here and there because of quarantine and contact tracing and, you know, your usual injuries and things like that. And so there's going to be change, but they've got a good coach. They'll be a very strong program again soon. I hope it doesn't start until after Friday, but you know, that was a great job by their staff and their kids.
Because you know, you've been here a while. You've done that. Most of your staff that you've had in your career here has stayed with you. And, you know, it's tough to start from scratch.
Especially in this conference.
Yeah.
So it's not easy anywhere, but there's no weak sisters in the HCC.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, you know, the one thing about it is, do you feel good practice this week, things going well. And
yeah, we were pretty feisty yesterday. I hope that's a good sign. When you have to break kids up, that means they're competing hard. I think our guys have the right mindset. They've been tremendous at that all year. We've not had to, lie to them. It's just a mature group of seniors, and you have obviously a big picture vision of what you're trying to accomplish and big dreams and aspirations, but we stay pretty locked in on the opponent at hand and the day at hand even. So
I think you're very, very blessed, because the one thing about it, by broadcasting all the games and talking with you and seeing the kids out on the field and watching them, like you said from the beginning, this is a good senior class that are very good leaders, and you follow up with that. You got some hard-nosed juniors that play pretty tough football.
A lot of talent in our junior class for sure, and we know that, and those guys get to play a ton, and they produce a lot on the football field, but the mesh between the two classes has been tremendous. We play a few sophomores in there as well, really talented guys, but I just think the selflessness of the seniors and the sacrifices they've made and the way that they've shown has really set the table for the talented seniors and juniors that we have to play well together.
And I guess I never know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing that these last couple of games you've been able to play a lot of football players, okay? But sometimes it's bad when you think about that. Sometimes you haven't been challenged as much as you'd like to be. But it's always good when you can play a lot of players and go with that mentality and next guy up.
Yeah, we're fortunate that we've been able to have some leads, and we like to play kids here. I think we have always been very liberal with subbing guys and getting guys in, maybe not as much as their parents think we should, but I feel like we do more than anybody else in the conference. So we're blessed to have had a couple of those games. And but I understand your question. I mean, the drawback is when your team hasn't played in the fourth quarter since week 5 or 6. I mean, it's a little scary. So we have to make sure we're in shape and have competitive practices and push our guys, and we're trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, the competitions right now has been right out there on the practice field, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, there's been a lot. So really proud of our guys for handling that. So we'll see. I hope that we're not rusty or out of shape, or that doesn't cost us in the end. But I'm not going to complain about being able to get guys in games and win and win big. It's been fun.
But the one thing about it, we've talked about this over the last few years, is your feeder program has been very, very successful. So you have a lot of young players that have that winning spirit.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes not easy to build.
Yeah, the expectations are a lot higher than it was a few years ago. We've kind of, I think, gotten over that tipping point, and so each class we get, they have won more than the grade before them, and so their expectations are a little higher, and they just haven't lost much. So it's gonna be a fun journey here the next several years. Hopefully we can stick together and keep going. If they'll have me, it'll be an honor to coach this program.
Absolutely. You've done an outstanding job doing so. Once again, we'll be here broadcasting on Friday night. We were awarded by the Indiana High School Athletic Association to have this game, and we feel quite honored to do that. And hopefully, if you move on and host, we'll get to come back. It's something that you want, and we want at Hamilton County TV to bring. It's been such a difficult year for us all with the COVID and things, and for the kids, it just hasn't been the same. But they've really made the best of it, and we feel very fortunate to be able to broadcast the games and let the people see Westfield football and what it's all about, that they can attend the game. We've had a very good year, in the numbers and everything. So we appreciate you guys and all you've done, and we look forward to being here Friday night.
Yeah, well, I do too. It's going to be a beautiful night.
Yes.
Win or lose, you're going to have somebody hosting in Hamilton County the next week. So I don't think your job's done this year.
Yeah, that's
hopefully
true.
Mine continues as well. But we are so grateful to always have this option. I know my family watches it, and so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, good luck, Coach, on Friday night, and I'll see you here.
Thanks. Go Rocks.